Well, good morning. Today is the biggest of days. Today is the day that I do the Hardergrat trail, which is just a knife edge ridge walk. It's about 25 kilometers long. I'm a bit terrified, but hopefully I'll be okay. The weather looks like it's going to be clear for the day. It looks like it's going to be cloudy, which is quite nice. It means the sun's not going to be out the whole time. It's currently about 7 a.m. and my plan is to essentially get the train up to the far end and then just hike back to the hostel. It's going to be a really long day, probably going to be like 10 hours or so. But yeah, wish me luck because I am terrified. So there through the haze, you can just about make out the Hardergrat ridgeline. So I'll be going up to the other opposite end of that and then walking all the way from the far peak. This is probably going to be like the most dangerous, the most tiring day, not just physically but also like mentally, because it's just so much focus and it's just exposure for miles and miles. Yeah, I did 16k yesterday and to be honest I'm aching from it, and I didn't appreciate how much I would be aching, so that's not great, but hopefully once I get going it'll be fine.
I've said it. If I let this
Anyone do a backflip?
I know I'll regret it. I'm supposed to wait, but I can't wait, 'cause I'm talking myself out of talking, and I don't want to lie to you. I want to tell you I love you. If you want to go there, well, darling, I'd love to tell you the God I adore you. It's 4 in the morning, but it's not the drink that's talking. I want to tell you I love you, tell you I love you. I'm not
Just take your time.
saying this to make you say it back, 'cause I'd wait for years. I really mean that. And you might laugh, but it's all that I have, and at least if you laugh and we're talking, so now I got nothing to lose. I wanna tell you I love you. If you wanna go there, well, darling, I'd love to, and tell you that God I adore you. It's 4 in the morning, but it's not the drink that's talking. I wanna tell you I love you. Oh, you say you like the shoes I'm wearing, so maybe I could walk you home. Tell me you should say what you think.
That is the peak just after the really sketchy bit. I'm like on an absolute high having done it though. Like, it was the toughest thing I've ever done as part of a hike, but it was incredible. To be honest, I said similar in Wales, I think in my head I built it up to be worse than it was. Again, once I was stood there, it's a case of, right, here are my 2 feet, here's where they are. Now I need to move that foot to that position, and you just focus, you're looking down, and you take your time, you get your own pace, and it's absolutely fine. But that's the worst of it over. Now just hiking along this kind of thing, which doesn't look too bad. Obviously got the drop right here, but this is like wide considering everything else. You got the snowy mountains in the background, you've got the other side of just, it's so good. Like, you're just constantly surrounded by these views, and it's really important to take time to pause and actually enjoy them, because you're obviously so focused on, you know, this is basically how wide the path is the whole time. Like, so my feet are there, right? So you're walking like this. That's pretty much how it is the whole way along. even on the really sketchy. So yeah, you got to be really careful. There you go. Hit the whole lake. So we started on this peak here and we worked all the way along, and basically the hostel is in that town there right at the end of the lake. And so my plan is to get to the end of these ridges, over this one that's a few more beyond what you can see here, and then once that's done, hike down and basically go from the peak behind me all the way to the hostel. Well, so we're currently, well, we have been at like 2,200 meters, which is about 6.6k feet, and as you can see we've got the real kind of Alps in the background there, the snowy stuff. It's a bit hard to see through the haze, but they just look mega. But yeah, heading all the way up over to that one soon, so hopefully within a couple of hours I'm there. That would be half decent pace really.
If you don't say, then you'll never know. I wanna tell you I love you. If you wanna go there, darling, I'd love to. Oh, tell you the guy it's 4 in the morning, but it's not the drink that's talking. I'm gonna tell you and tell you I love you and tell you I love you.
That one is like the final high one. After that, it's like, okay, we're chilling. But for now, I've still got to like climb up this, which is really, really steep. You can actually see that guy there for context as well. But this has already been like almost 5 hours and just about halfway there. So it's really, really crazy. This will probably be the toughest one I've done. Like in Yosemite, I did like 30 kilometers, 2,000 meters climb, but that was at the end of 5 weeks of like hiking, where I was probably in the best shape I've ever been in. Whereas I'm coming off of a few injuries, haven't been hiking, just been doing regular mundane things. So yeah, not in that same kind of shape. So I think this will definitely be the toughest one I've ever done. But gotta just keep going, one foot in front of the other, and yeah, enjoy it. Like, look at this, it's great. So the section I've just done down here is actually one of the hardest climbs I've done. In terms of like a short distance, you can tell my voice is like gone, because it's one of the only times I've actually hiked and been hands and feet all the way up, essentially just bear crawling, which, yeah, but look at this. I mean, so that's Hardergrat there, which is the second highest peak along this reach, after the one that's Matterhorn over there, the really scary one, and the start was there, which is Rothorn. And yeah, you got the lake, and then you can see the sheer, just like crazy mountains in the background. Like, these are mountains, right? I am stood at 2,000 meters up, which is like several hundred meters taller than anywhere in England. And then you've got those, which is crazy. You've also got the views on this side as well. So that is Hardergrat, which is like the final high point. I'll be honest, I'm really struggling. About 5.5 hours in now, just about getting to the midway point in terms of distance. Now obviously after the mountain I just pointed out, it's all downhill, so the pace should be better, so it won't take 5.5 hours from here. I'm really tired. It's really tough work. I think the 10 miles, 16 kilometers that I did yesterday, I did wake up this morning pretty stiff, so I think I've bitten off quite a lot, to be honest, but that's how it goes. Honestly, doing that really hard bit was just so incredible. Definitely the hardest thing I've done. I think mountains, good metaphor for life, you know. Sometimes you have to climb up. It's really hard work, but I think even when it's hard work, you can kind of stand still for a second and just like look at what's around you and just really appreciate it. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn to do, is just enjoy this. This doesn't happen all the time. So I'm so happy to be here, and I think in a few hours I'll be even happier with relief. There's a beer waiting for me at the hostel, and that's what's keeping me going at the moment. So who said alcohol's bad for you? So I'm probably about halfway up the really big climb. As you can tell, I am exhausted. Don't know what I'm looking at, just kind of climbing up. It's not really, there is a route, but it's not, you know, not the easiest thing to climb, but you know, just hands and feet really. So I've done the final big climb of the day. That was really not easy. As you can see, the clouds really come in. We start over there somewhere. You can still see stuff in this direction. So it's actually heading for like those woods over there, and then the descent is through there. So should only be 2.5 hours until the end of the ridge, and then just over an hour down back into Interlaken, which is getting closer and closer. So for some perspective, that's where we started, and all the way along is Tanhorn, which is the really scary bit, all the way along the ridges, and then this was Augsmatthorn, which was quite a tough climb, and now this is the very final peak, and then it's down to Hardergrat down there, which then I'll be having to hike down from. Got another 10 kilometers to go. Yeah, like 6 miles or something like that. But yeah, worst bit's done. There is Interlaken. The sun's come out. Was all the way up there at some point. Still got like 3 hours to go, and I don't know how I'm making it. Like honestly, my feet are in so much pain. I'm just tired, like my legs are just like jelly, and it's still 3 hours. Yeah, this is crazy, but what can you do? Just gotta make it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just delirious at this point, honestly, but it's fine. Still got water left. Just yeah, gotta keep going. Hello. So it was about 24 hours yesterday. I was still hiking. Didn't kind of get any of the descent because I was just fully focused on actually getting down. It was extremely tough work, and in the end it took 11 hours. 5,000 calories burnt in one day as well, which was just crazy. I was tired from about halfway through, so to push through and get to the end was really tough work. I've actually spent most of today asleep. I slept really well, absolutely fine, and then just throughout today I've just been chilling out at the hostel, and I've just had to get into bed and just sleep for another few hours just from the pure exhaustion. I think physically I pushed myself more than I've ever done, and then because I was doing that, it's then like mentally exhausting. Yeah, just to give like a closure on yesterday's walk, it was just probably the toughest hike I've ever done, and that's saying something. It's the first ever hike I would say that I would never do again, and this is the first time where I'm like, the physicality of that and also the danger of it all, just I couldn't do that again. Knowing what it was all like. So yeah, awesome day though. I'm still like a bit in shock of like actually what went down yesterday and what happened. Like it was crazy. But yeah, got good hikes now planned for the rest of the time. Slightly more chilled, but they'll also be awesome. So yeah, that's to close the Hardergrat trail, the most insane trail I've ever done. So there we go.